Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to another course. So in this video I'm going to explain to you about the CRUD using Laravel, which is again without page refreshing. That means we are using Ajax for that, right? So everything which I have used in my previous videos on my channel, where I have the topic on the drop zone where you can add multiple images using drop zone. I have a topic on the Dropify, and as well as I have the same topic where I just given the code in the description and you can download that and the preview. Now this video is just all from the scratch where you can understand, and I believe that if you guys can learn this thing, you can use in your any complex project. The code will be of the best practices where you can just simply grab that code and you can put it on your video or on your project, right? So I hope you guys will love it. So let's jump and start with it. So I've also provided a feature which is known as validation, plus I have something which I can upload inside these borders. So if I just click on it, you could see, and if I just try to add one of the thumbnail, which I highly suggest to watch that video full stack Laravel Angular all from the scratch. And if I click on the save post, you see I also have shown the very beautiful sweet alert and the validation, or whatever, not validation, actually the message, a prompt message which says that image is completed successfully. And if I click OK, and the image is basically added on the listings. Normally what happened is, when most of the videos, if you watch on YouTube, whenever you're going to submit the form and show on the listing, so this requires a page refreshing. Normally they use something which is known as location.reload, a jQuery method, but I believe everything is done because of Ajax, so you still don't need to refresh that for the listing. Everything will appear automatically with the help of Ajax. I want to show you each and every single thing. If you're a very new beginner for the Laravel, I still try to explain everything from the scratch. That's what my way is, and I've been doing it for a long time, right? So now we can also delete the listing if I want. Now if I just try to delete that, so it will say that the message with the help of message says deleted successfully, and you see there's no more image. Now you can also update the image. Let's suppose I have this CSS3, I want to update that, and let's click on the top of that, and I want to change that to API PNG whatever. So if I click on the update post, and it says the image is uploaded successfully. If I try to refresh this, so this is going to remain there, and now if I go left and try to refresh my page, and there we go. So you can see now the image is changed successfully, updated successfully, right? So this is what we are going to explain. I will make a series of it one by one where you can learn everything from the scratch, right from the installation until to this complete project, right? So if you can understand that, you can use in your any single project with the best practices, right? So let's jump in and get started in the coding section. Alright guys, now let's start with the coding section. Make sure for the installation you have your Composer installed, and which is basically a dependency manager for the PHP, and I already installed that on my system. So you can install on the Windows by simply clicking on the Composer setup.exe, and that's how you can install. You can also watch its settings for the if you're using Mac, and I hope it's very simple. Alright, so once you're done with the composer.org, so in my case I'm using Visual Studio Code, so you can also download that VS Code and just click enter, and there we go. So this is the link for the Visual Studio Code, so you can also download that and you can use it as a text editor, which provide you a lot of very beautiful extensions which can help you out for doing things a lot much easier, and writing the code is much flexible, right? So suggest you to use that VS Code. Next thing you have to know is to install the Xampp server. On my case it's working, and you can simply go to the Xampp Apache server and all the very basic installation, and you can just simply click on the two actions which have the Apache server and the MySQL server running, right? I hope you guys are very much aware of that. Still, if you have an issue, I have my I think so I have a topic on my Laravel which is very old, 5.7, but I think so for that case everything is very much identical, so you can still watch that. And if I've been planning to make a crash course on Laravel as well in the coming weeks or next month, right? So you don't need to worry about that, right? Okay, so let's open up your Visual Studio Code, but before going that, I also installed something which is known as a very good editor terminal for writing a command, so which is git bash. You can go up in the git-scm.com, you can click on there to download for the Windows, or if you're using Mac, you can click on here, right? So very basic, it's a very simple installation. All right, so once you're done with that, all you need to do is to go inside your Xampp htdocs wherever you have installed your Xampp server. In my case, usually by default, it's inside your C drive, Xampp, and the htdocs. And many of you are using Xampp. You can also watch its settings for that, but it's completely fine. The Apache server or Xampp almost works in the same way. There are very few differences, but it doesn't affect anything else. Right, so I have my Git bash open already, and for installation, all you need to do is to simply type a composer, create dash project, and Laravel/Laravel, and the name of the project, which in my case should be, just give it the name of image underscore CRUD underscore Laravel. Right, just press enter, and this is going to take some time for the installation, and once it's done, I will be right back. Alright guys, now the installation has been done successfully. Now all I need to do is to route to the folder that we have just created, the project that we have created. So let's give it the name of cd, and let's go inside the image underscore CRUD underscore Laravel, right? So if I just simply move to that, and let's open up with the Visual Studio Code, so you can just simply type code and the space dot. Right, so this is going to open up on my VS Code, and depending on if you are using VS Code, that's fine. If you're using Sublime Text or any other code editor, it's all up to you. So now we are moving inside the code. The first thing that we need is to go inside our .env file and set up the configuration for our database. So in my case, which I gave it the name image underscore CRUD underscore Laravel. You can name it anything for your database, but I believe that's going to be fine, right? So let's create that database. We don't need to change anything else first. So I open up my phpMyAdmin, and all you need to do is to simply create new. Click on here, and you can just simply type the name of the database that you have added inside your .env, and now everything is done. Later on, I'm going to use migrations to create the tables. All right, so let's jump inside here. So we are good to go for the .env file. Next thing, we need some packages, or we need some CDNs to add inside our files. So let's go inside the structure for the resources, views, and already by default, there's a file with the name of welcome.blade.php, and I need to move out every single thing from here. So I remove that and change the welcome.blade.php into index.blade. So I changed the name of the file, and I want to change a little bit changes that I want to add here. So let's create a new folder here inside layouts, give it the name of layouts. So I created a folder layouts, and inside layouts folder, I need to create a file with the name of master.blade.php. And if you have watched my previous videos on Laravel, so that's usually a way I use, which makes things a lot neater and cleaner. Right, so inside master.blade.php, I want to add up my links for my CDNs, all my scripts here, and we can later on create a separate folder and add a file inside that and create scripts separately, create our styling separately. So that's usually the way I want. So I want to change the title first. So let's give it the name of image CRUD in Laravel using Ajax and with validation as well. So let's type here validation and saves it. Right, so I'm using here Bootstrap as well, but we can see it later on. Right now I don't want to add any Bootstrap for now, at least. So let's create here the link for the CSS. So I want to add a CSS file for it. So let's add here a link for it. So how we can use here asset, which is a helper function, which is by default public, right? So after public, if you can see on your root directory, we have a folder with the name of public, which has nothing inside despite of this 4 files, right? .htxs index, which is basically used for your hosting. While you're uploading the files, you need some configuration, and so there's something which works for the server bootstrapping, but we are not going to look for that. For now, we just need to create a folder inside there, and let's give it the name of folder assets. And inside assets, I need to create another folder CSS, and let's create here the file with the name of style.css. All right, so that's where we can add up all the stylings inside here. right? So next thing I will need to do here is down to the body, we can add something which is known as scripts. So the first script that I need, because we are working with the Ajax, so we need jQuery plugin as well. So let's go to the code.jquery.com and get the uncompressed version. So the first thing you need to do is to go to the jQuery.3x and let's simply grab this, and you can just simply put to your body. And so right after that, we need something which is some two scripts that I needed. One for my helper JS, which I can create custom, where we can add the sweet alert to validations. So that's what I can do right now. Let's create a script here, and let's add here source equal to, and let's create here asset. So I need to add my two curly braces, and let's add here asset and name that to be assets underscore JS underscore helpers. Let's give it the name of helpers.js. So this is basically the file where I can add the sweet alerts to CSS, and where we can show the messages on while we have submit something or deleted something, just I've shown you on my demo. Next thing I need here is a script where we can add the Ajax form submission, right? So that's where I can add my submission file separately. So let's create here the let's give it the name of custom.js, right? So asset slash custom.js. I hope you guys make sure, right? Okay, so down here, something which is known as the helper function, Laravel provides stack, and this is very useful helper function which help us to if some scripts that I need to add on the other files, so I can use here stack, and with the help of push function that we get, with the help of push helper function in other file, we can easily extract those scripts. So that's I want to show you later on. I hope you guys can understand when I will start working with that, right? So I add the scripts down here, and the last thing that I'm looking forward to it is the I need to also add something which is known as Csrf token for the meta, and I want to add right after the there. So, and basically this Csrf token is used when we are submitting the form, when we have post request, we are submitting the data, and usually when we are submitting the data using Ajax, so sometimes there is an error which occurs on based off the way we are submitting the data using Ajax. So it gave us something known as the mismatch error for the token. So that's why I've been added on inside my Csrf token. So this is gonna generate a token ID and matches with the Ajax request and submits the form, which we can see later on, right? So we also need to add, I forget to bring here the link for that. So asset slash css slash style.css file, right? So this is the CSS file, and I hope we are good to go, despite I said that we can use Bootstrap later on. But right after here, I need to use something which is known as sweet alert. So let's gonna grab from the cdnjs.com. So that's where you can get a lot of the CDNs. So let's go inside the cdnjs.com, and let's look for the sweet alert too. So I need something which is known as Lamonti. I don't know how we can pronounce that, but yeah, you just need to go to the Lamonti-sweet alert to click on here, and all I need is the all.js file for that. So Cloudflare slash Ajax slash JS, I need to copy that up, and let's go inside after the, I need to add inside my script tag. So right after the jQuery, I'm gonna add up the sweet alerts, right? So we are good to go. Now inside body, I need to add something which is yield, and I need to put here inside content. So what actually is, so whenever I want my all CDNs, I want this header, whatever I include should have the CSS file, should have those scripts. For that, I need to use something known as content, where I can extend to the other files, and we can easily get all the access through the CSS and the JavaScript file, which I want to show you right now. All right, so let's create here the migration after that, because we need to submit the form, a post, and we want to save the data inside our database. So we need to create a table. So for tables, we need to create some migration. So let's go to your terminal, and you can either use the git bash if you want, or you can either use the something which is known as the code editor terminal. You can easily open up that. But I prefer that it's going to be good to use here. So I'm going to use my VS Code terminal. And the first thing I need here is to create a model with the migration. So I'm going to give it the name PHP artisan make model, and the name of the model, which in my case would be so PHP artisan make model, and name of the model which is post and -m for migration, so that we can create the migration and we can later on migrate that and we can create tables, right? So we don't need to manually create the tables, just like if ever you work on core PHP, that's where you can create the separate tables. So this is going to create a create post table, and that should be inside my database migrations. And if I just want to extend through it, there we go, right? So that's how you can find out that. So on our case, we just need to add a single column, which is the image, right? So let's create that. So I'm going to copy that from my code and just simply add up right here, right? So that's how you can simply grab the image for it, right? And that's it, right? That's it for that. Okay, now if I go to my routes, routes are basically where we can navigate from one page and where we want to show our resources, where we want to show the view. So for that I just need to remove that for welcome, which we have just removed. We change the name. So I want to give it the name of route : get, and slash means that we want to see everything on a home page. So that's fine for that. And let's create here a controller and give it the name of the controller, which should be post controller. So I should first create the controller here. So let's create here a controller and PHP artisan make controller and give it the name of post controller. All right, so this is going to create successfully. Now if I go to my app HTTP controllers, and that's where you could see, we can see the post controller. Now the first is the route, the path, which is slash, and I need to give it the name of the controller, in my case, which is image controller, and the name of the method that we have is the index, right? So I just created that. Now inside my image controller, I need to create a function to return a view. So let's go inside my it should be post controller, sorry for that. So just simply create that controller, and let's go inside the post controller and create a function. So public function index. So the name of the method is index, because we already defined here the index. So whatever the name you define here, you should keep that same. And I create a function, and let's return a view and give it the name of index. And that should be the name of the file that you created for the resources. So on a case where we just change the welcome to the index. So I want to show you right here, which is resources views, and that's where the index.play.php file, right? So if I just simply type here h1 and set that to be welcome, and we haven't run the server, so in order to run the server, you just need to type php artisan serve and press enter, and let's go back to the browser and type here, and there we go. Now if I just try to type Control U, you see nothing appears here, right? So we have no any scripts, we have no any meta tags. So that's where I said you that we need to extend the layouts. So in order to extend the layouts, we need to use something known as section and the extends. So let's remove that here, and let's type here extends. So extends, and we need to bring here the name of the folder, and inside layouts we have a file with the name of master. So I give it the name of that, and let's add here the section, and we have to add the content. So basically this content is coming from the master.blade.php file. So whatever I type inside the body should have all the scripts. So that's where we can use a section content, and I need to end the section. Now if I type here h1 and set that to be hello and saves it, and let's go back here and refresh, and there you go, right? So there you could see we have the title, we have all the CSS files and all the scripts that we need to add, right? So I hope you guys understand that concept, right? So and I need to collapse that out, and let's create here the as I have shown you, we have the path inside assets CSS. We have a file which I haven't created, so let's create a file. Yeah, I created for the style.css, but not for my JS. So inside assets, let's create a folder with the name of JS, and inside JS let's create the first file for the helpers.js, which is for my suite alerts, and next I'm going to create my custom.js file where we are gonna add the submission form, deletion, and everything else, right? So this is for the custom.js, right? So we are good to go, I believe. Now if I go back to my browser, and there you go, right? So we can see now slash, basically if I add another page, I need to add another route. So I need to create a separate route for it, which we can do later on for the edit. All right. So the last thing that I want for this section is, and then I will want to just take that next for the next part. So I need to add some CSS files, right? So let's create a section, a content for it. I need to create a preview. So first I want to give here the h1, and let's give it the image, or I just want to grab it from my text. All right, so it's just simply add here. And now this is text center, p-3, padding, and background-start. These are all the bootstrap class. Now for that I need to use here bootstrap. All right, I just want to save some time, so I'm gonna use bootstrap, and let's copy that and add to your code. All right, so let's go to your master.blade.php file, and just underneath that style, I just need to add my bootstrap. Now if I go back and refresh this, and just close that up, and now if I go back and refresh, so this looks something like this, and right. So I'm going to close my bootstrap. We don't need that for now. We don't need any jQuery. All right, that's fine. Okay, so let's go inside my pages. I created here the index.blade.php file, and let's create here a container for the bootstrap. So container, and inside container I need to create here a form, which we can later on add some method, post, or jQuery, whatever we use. So inside form I'm going to create here a class with the name of upload dash images. So I just give it the class name that, and let's create here the row for it. So image dash upload dash row, and that's fine. Let's create here dot upload dash column, and that's another div for that. And I need to create here an input type of file. So let's create here input type of file. So I'm going to use here emit, and give it the name of image and ID of image. All right, that's fine. And next I need to add some paragraphing, or you can use here labels. Later on we can add some placeholder for that, which I'm going to show you. So yeah, just create that for now. Okay, so label for equal to image, and let's create a source here. And right now I just need to give it the asset slash images slash placeholder. So I need to create here a folder also for the images. So placeholder.png, and that's fine. So right after here I need to give it the paragraph to show the post screenshot. All right, so for the later on for the validation we can create a separate span for that, and right after that div, and I need to create here a button for that. So let's create a button and give it the type of button, and let's give it the class of save underscore post underscore btn, and I just give it the margin top to 4, right? If saves it, that's fine. And for this, I think so we are good to go. Let's refresh and see. So this looks something like that, and we can make that little better. And I need to give it the button as well, the name, which is save post, right? So the classes that I define here, I need to show you the stylings that I've done for there, right? So let's go to the assets and find the style.css, right? So add some CSS for it, right? So I go to style.css. So you need to go to the public folder. Inside assets you have style.css, and let's create a first. I want my images should have the maximum width of 100%. All right, so next thing I want that to display block, and I want a block level element, and that's, you can also watch my CSS if you want. So image dash upload dash row, that's where I want to show my row. Let's give it the display flex. And margin, I just want to give it a little margin to the top, right, left, bottom. Let's give it a -10 pixel. All right, so let's give it the upload column. So upload dash column, and let's give it the width of calc is a function, and which I want 100% screen, and divide by 5. All right, so this is for the calc, and now I need the position to be relative, and I want some padding of 10 pixel. You can either skip that if you don't want any CSS. You can simply download from a GitHub repository, so that's going to save some time. If you want to work with me, still fine, it's all up to you. So let's add here another class, so .img-uploaders. I have what I just gave it the name of. So img-uploaders, I believe I haven't given the class here for the label. Yeah, I need to give here a class which is known as class equal to img-uploaders. Some very difficult names for the classes, so you can change according to that. Right, for my labels, I need to give it the width of 100%. That's where you can add the image. So width of 100%, and let's give it the height of 120 pixel, and let's give it the margin of 0, and border 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid. And you can give it the display flex, and align items to the center. I want that to be centered. So justify content center, and we need the cursor to be pointer whenever I point on the label, right? And the last thing that I hopefully left with is the upload dash column. So upload dash column, and I want for the paragraph tags, actually I need that to right, so just cut that out, and let's paste it right after there, and let's give it the margin of 0, and text align to the center, text transform uppercase, and let's give it a color of 464855. All right, and font weight of 500, and font size of 13 pixels. Right, so that's good for that. And now I need to give some for the button. I need to show up something .save_post_btn, and right after that, let's add some padding. I want my padding of 5 pixels, and background, let's give it the button background to be #1669b3, and let's give it the color of font to be white, and border none. All right, so let's refresh that and see how it looks. So this looks fine, right? So I need to go to my input type of file. So we have our button. Now I need a placeholder behind that, and that's what I'm going to grab it from here, and I want to give it display none, right? I don't want to show you this upload choose file, so let's give it the display none. So give it the style of display none. Okay, so we can give it display none, and right, so this looks fine. And the last stuff that I need is to add some background. So I need to grab from my last project that I created for when I'm creating my product. So I believe this should be Laravel. I go to the public assets images. Let's grab this placeholder. You can find either on Google, right, easily. You can add any image. So just for that sake, I just grab from here. You can download from my GitHub repo. So I need to go to my repo. So htdocs, my folder name is Laravel. No, it's image underscore upload. That should be image underscore. So let's go inside the public assets and create a folder with the name of images, and let's copy that, and that's fine. Now if I go back and refresh this, and there we go, right? So we are good with our front end, right? We have created very front end, and I believe if you guys don't love to write a lot of CSS code, and you can either download that, but if you want to go step by step, still fine, you can watch my video. So that's it for this part 1, and in the next part I'm going to explain you how we can insert the image and with the validation. I hope might be in the second part I would create a validation, and the third step, on the third step I will create the insertion, right? So that's it, and I want to see you in the next part.